Right, hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever it is, wherever you happen to be. My name is Paul, I'm also called Knickknack. I'm the brains behind Knickknack's Old Peculiar, the world's most slightly boring blog. I'm also the brains behind Knickknack's Daily Teaser, which is an even more slightly boring set of highly fun quizzes. And I talk about movies when I get the chance to see them, and I talk about TV shows I think you might be interested in seeing, or at least hearing someone's opinion about. I tend to go on about stuff I like. I really do. At any rate, just recently I started watching the fourth series of Apple TV's For All Mankind. Last week I saw the opening episode, Glasnost, and if you know how to pronounce it correctly, I'd appreciate hearing about it. Last night was Monday, the 20th of November. I saw the second episode, Have a Nice Soul, and I thought I should tell you about it. Episode 2, Have a Nice Soul, opens with a hopper descending from low Earth or low Mars orbit with a consignment of new crew members, a batch that includes new commander Daniel Poole, Chris Marshall, and worker Miles Dale, Toby Keble. Miles finds himself in at the sharp ends of the base environment. Not only is his immediate job not what he'd been told, but he's sharing a barracks with 3 other people. He's repairing parts of the base rather than working on the Martian surface. The pay is not what he expected. And finally, the communications with his family are on the serious fritz. Meanwhile, Danielle is warmly welcomed by Ed Baldwin, Joel Kinnaman, who tells her that yes, there are problems with the communication satellites, problems causing deep morale issues, but Helios, back on Earth, are too cheap to fix things fast. Back on Earth, Kelly, Cynthia Wu, is showing her new boss, Administrator Hobson, Daniel Stern, what she does, only to be told that her project is to be axed. Meanwhile, Aleida Rosales, Cora Pena, makes a brave attempt to restart work only to find that her mental health is making it harder than she expected to do her job, let alone do the interview. Meanwhile, over in the Soviet Union, we see Margot Madison beginning a new day in her adopted part of the world, only to notice that several things are seriously wrong. There are, for a start, way too many heavily armed police on the street. Things could be going a little bit borscht flavoured. Now, what did I make of Have a Nice Soul, of this second episode of For All Mankind? Something that caught my eye was some of the design work, especially of Happy Valley Base. The design for the underground sections of the base is something I found very reminiscent of the silo in Silo. It's something I've seen but not reviewed here or on my blog. I may or may not change my mind there. It all depends on the time situation. At any rate, some of the design for Apple TV's Silo seemed similar to the underground section of For All Mankind's Happy Valley Base. The doors, or some of them in particular. Granted, Happy Valley sets are different to the Silo's grungy interiors. They're a lot more upbeat, even the underground sections. And that's no big surprise. The two shows have 2 different production designers from what I can see of the IMDb entries. But I can't help but wonder if there's some sort of common thread going through the 2 shows beyond the obvious simple fact they're both commissioned for and by Apple TV Plus. I honestly couldn't tell you. But the one struck me as reminiscent of the other. The episode itself is, again, something of a scene setter. I think I say a scene setter. It's setting up threads for later on, I think, and it's picking up from Glasnost, the first episode, as it goes. The main thread of the first act is something of a highlight there. It shows us Miles Davis frustrated with a job can't get out of, not for a couple more years yet, and Danielle realising that while the base is doing good scientific work, there is something rotten at the heart of this modern day Denmark. Does this bode well for a full series as a whole? With Joel Kinnaman's Ed as a possible dragon to be defeated by Danielle and Miles's St. George's? I suspect so, but couldn't tell you for sure until we all of us get to episode 10 and I'm doing the review of that last episode. I honestly couldn't tell you, but I suspect the Mars thread of this story is going to be one that's going to be both central and very well worth watching. Right, just as my usual last word, yes, I am going to be watching the next episode next week. I'll be lining up the Bear Hug, episode 3, on Monday the 27th of this year, and I will be posting my review of the Bear Hug on the 28th. In between now and then, there's going to be a lot going on. I am planning on watching and hopefully reviewing The Daleks in Colour on the 23rd and 24th of November. The 23rd is the actual 60th anniversary of Doctor Who. I'm planning to watch The Daleks in Colour on that day, and hopefully having a review up the day after on the 24th. On the 25th, the 60th anniversary specials are going to be aired, or the first one will be aired, The Star Beast, on the 25th, and frankly, I'll be watching that, you betcha, and reviewing it, or have my reviews up on the day after. I would stick around, hit the subscribe button, ding the notification bell, keep an eye on my YouTube channel and on my blog at Knickknacks Old Peculiar. You'll see those reviews as soon as they go live. I'd love it if you join me and left a comment. I will see you next week. If I don't see you next week, I'll see you when I see you. I can only leave you with the very wise words of the late great Patrick McGoohan in this sort of situation. Be seeing you.